the two really outstanding players last week. We're round 3 in the BKT United Rugby Championship for the Emirates Lions and Edinburgh in Johannesburg. And a really big test for Sean Everett's side as the first carry comes from Magnus Bradbury and the clearance from Ben Healy. And Chris Paston alongside me, and Chris, it really is it's a big game. I mean, such a tough start. The fixture list has not been kind to Edinburgh. They've got Stormers next as well. But big to make a mark here.
Really important, you know, 3 weeks in. If Edinburgh win this game, it's been could be quite a positive start to the season, or almost a very positive start to the season. If they lose it, then it's a really negative start to the season. So, really important game all around for the away side.
Quick ball coming for the Lions as they enter the Edinburgh 22. The first time, Eric Cronier. Stolen but illegally so by Magnus Bradbury. The first loud blast from Adam Jones.
Yeah, the hands going over, touching the ground beyond the possession, but beyond the ball. The Lions have a kick at goal. Volhatter already going to try and get off to an early side. You can see how quickly the possession is that the Lions have. Their footwork pre-contact, Edinburgh up in the tackle low, trying to increase those opportunities for the turnover we spoke about earlier with Jamie Ritchie and Magnus Bradbury there attempting it, but his hands just hit the ground beforehand. But Lions play with quick ball the whole time, so as a defender, your first up tackle has to be good, but your reset and your ability to pop to your feet, get back in the line, has to match that or better it.
Cade Volhatter scored 15 points last week against Ulster, including a try. The former Stormer, just making his third appearance for the Emirates Lions, and through the posts for the first points of the game.
It's a little bit wobbly, but it counts. You see 15 points last week. Another player who's just really excited about getting back involved in rugby. Had a string of serious knee injuries, but he's an attack-minded player as well. He fits into that attacking mindset of the Lions, but he'll be happy to get that first penalty over.
He only managed to play 4 minutes for the Lions last season, having made that move from the Stormers. It's almost a pinpoint kickoff, but Jared Cairns managing to field it. One of the players that Ivan van Rooyen was talking about in the lead up to this game that really impressed in their Currie Cup campaign. Reinhard Jonker, another one. There's Morne Vandenberg to clear, and got plenty of distance on that. Well fielded though, and Healy can put one up for Kusen to chase, and it's Kuan Horn. Managed to get out of the tackle of his opposite number. Taken on by Franco Marais. That was a late change as well at hooker for the Lions. PJ Botha unable to play, so Marais coming in to start.
Yeah, Wes Goosen, I think maybe got a bit of a sting on his shoulder there. That first tackle is so important when there's a contestable kick. If you can catch the receiver man and ball and stop the momentum immediately, you make it a lot easier for yourself. But he just couldn't quite keep a hold of Horn, the Lions fullback. And once the Lions are in behind you, it's that tempo, it's that speed again. Edinburgh are not rolling away. I tell you what, Vandenberg's first clearance from 5 metres from his own line to reach the far 10 when the clearance from the base was pretty impressive as well. That's Gilchrist just getting caught. I think Vandenberg made the most of it, but it is a penalty. And we'll see how the Lions strike from the first line out.
Did you enjoy that aspect of playing at altitude? Maybe not quite so much.
I still couldn't kick it very far.
The feeling on the lungs, but
if you struck it well, it would just keep going and going and going. It was, yeah, a good experience.
It's taken on by Jonker, and Marais again. Driven back in the tackle though.
Off your feet now, there you go!
Looking to sniff out an interception there. Oh, and here goes Frankie Horn. He's got a man on his shoulder who sits down the Edinburgh tackler towards the line. Goes Vandenberg, and through the hands to Jonker, and Kuan Horn will touch down for the Emirates Lions' first score, and they can be so lethal with that loose play, and it all started with the number 8 Frankie Horn and finished off by Kuan Horn.
Oh, it's just a threat the Lions pose. I mean, Edinburgh actually got up pretty high in the defensive line. Ross McCann almost could have gone for the ball, I think. He was so high in the defensive line, and then reset it really quickly. So it was a solid wall of defence from Edinburgh. But how good is Frankie Horn? He just knows where the space is. He picks and goes right over the top of the possession, right through the middle of the ruck, and then flooding through in the support play is Van der Merwe. This is Vandenberg placing the ball back. The support plays there. Jamie Ritchie almost gets through in the turnover, but this is where the Lions are excellent. They just move the point of attack rather than pick and go there. This is brilliant as well from Landsberg. Just he knows where the space is. Even although Velikot's trying to shut it down, he keeps the ball moving. He shifts the point of attack, and it's Horn who scores in the corner. There's a pick from Juan Horn. Was he the last man? Was he that on the hindmost foot? I mean, have another look at that. But the support play from Edward van der Merwe, and then Vandenberg after that just shows you the mindset and the attacking mindset of the Lions.
The breaks, the post-contact meters gained by Frankie Horn, so impressive, and Cade Voluter unsuccessful, so unable to add the extra 2, but an 8-point lead to kick things off for the Lions.
That's really important that ball keeps moving. If that tackle's completed by Hamish Watson, you have a rack. Edinburgh they can reset, they can get the defensive line, but Landsberg knows that, and he knows it's not a risk because the players outside him are expecting it. They're in the right position. Rather, it's a great mindset just to avoid a ruck at all costs. Keep the ball alive, keep moving the target, and the Lions get the reward.
Jared Cairns again fielding the kickoff. Vandenberg will just call for some reinforcements to allow him to make this clearance, and again the angle is brilliant. The distance is even more impressive.
Even more impressive. His first on his left foot, that's his right foot. Incredible. Both from 5 metres from your own line up to the far 10. It's brilliant. One from his left, one from his right. It really is a big part of that's maybe not quite as far as the far 10, but up towards halfway. Young scrum halves and all scrum halves, really, you're starting to see it, how important being able to kick off both foot is in the game.
Ewan Ashman, who came on early for Dave Cherry last week, scored up in Pretoria, that one being nicked away onto the Lions side, but the possession was only limited.
Ben Velikot might need a minute to get his breath back.
Come on, Hilly!
Clinical, he did well to keep a hold of it until it was eventually stripped. Ben Velikot. It was a trick play that was going to come straight through the line out, but well defended by the Lions, and I think Vandenberg was disappointed that he's not kept a hold of that one. You can see immediately from the turnover, they want to shift the ball, they want to move it to space. The first scrum, Curtis Humans involved this afternoon.
Crouch. Bang.
Edinburgh's scrum has been successful. It's the line out that has had the issues so far this season. The Lions, incidentally, were 100% on set pieces against Ulster. There goes Darcy Graham looking for a gap. Tui Pilotu, a late call up into the starting team. He was originally on the bench, so it's Tom Dodd that moves into the 23 shirt. Watson, and now Healy. Mosesi Tui Pilotu. And if he carries half as well as his brother did last night, then Edinburgh could be onto something. There's Gilchrist. And Darcy Graham. A bit stop-start for Edinburgh.
He's won the ball, turnover's good here.
And that has been turned. Cronje with it. And now breaking away is Pretorius.
Off your feet, red ball.
And the penalty comes, and Edinburgh's discipline at the breakdown costing them at the moment.
Yeah, that's a disappointing penalty from Edinburgh's perspective. Ross McCann's off his feet, he's playing the ball. Nigel Sykes made a really good cover tackle there. And, you know, after kind of that effort from your second row, it's disappointing to see a cheap penalty given away. Again, it comes from a turnover. Was it Cronje or Jonker, I think, that was in and won the turnover on Darcy Graham. And again, it's field position for the Lions. We'll have another look at it here. See, that's a turnover. It's Darcy Graham taking it in. I think it was Jonker, wasn't it?
On the line, okay?
Again, the mentality, not just to get over there and win the penalty, it's the mentality to steal the ball, move it away, and within 2 passes they're up that short side. And then from the penalty, they'll have a set piece in Edinburgh's 22.
Franco Murray just on the edge of the 22, and good reach from Horn at the back of the line out. Now JC Pretorius, Vandenberg, and Landsberg driving that powerful frame further forward. Cairns.
Tackle! No, don't.
And Landsberg once again. Dangerous times these for Edinburgh. Horn finds it out to Pretorius. Tackle coming in from Ben Healy.
The ball's here, boys. He's nowhere near it.
This time, not Nagel.
Stay up now,
The
stay
second row. It's come back on Edinburgh's side though, and Ben Healy just to launch that clear, try and get some defensive respite. The bouncing ball will take it all the way to the 22. But the Lions can be exceptionally dangerous from this position. 50-22 is on. The bouncing ball started to take a turn towards the touchline.
Retreat!
This is dangerous for Edinburgh.
They scored 3 of their 5 tries last week from their own half. They're not a team you want to kick loosely to at all. Vandenberg almost spun away from Ashman. Penalty advantage for the Lions. Kieran Horn to Pretorius. He's got Ralph McSwaney alongside him, and the winger will surely go in, and he does. It's been a lightning start to the season from the Lions, and their winger Rubs McSwaney.
We just sense the danger when they're playing against a team that's so good in counter-attack, and it was such a long multi-phase piece of play. You know, turnover after turnover, long kick after long kick, and you could see the exhaustion and I suppose the lungs struggling at altitude, and that's where the Lions come alive. They built through the phases. It took them a lot of phases to score, but what a finish from McSwaney. We might go back and have a look at one of the passes, whether this one here from Horn, did it drift forward? Looks like it comes out of his hand forward there. Maybe have another look at that, but Pretorius, who popped up 3 or 4 times in the midfield really for a back row player, draws and passes, and McSwaney's finish here, 1-on-1 with Darcy Graham. He's got 6 inches to play with, maybe a couple of metres there to play with, and that's a brilliant piece of skill at the end of a long phase of play, and he dots down under the posts.
And the conversion added. McSwaney only managed 3 tries last season. He's almost at that total already.
It's manipulation of keeping the ball alive and getting to the outside channel. I thought that pass maybe drifted forward, but this is a brilliant piece of skill on the edge. Watch this, look at space he's got. It's 4 metres, and Darcy Graham. As a defender, you're told to keep moving forward, take the time and space away from McSwaney, but when he's so quick and he's so good in his feet, it almost forces you onto your heels. It's the last thing you want to do. You want to keep taking the space away from the attacker. And McSwaney is clinical and he's over again.
So the ideal start for the hosts. Here's Landsberg, who played a big part in that attacking set that got the Lions in for their 2nd score of the game. There's Ntlabakanye.
Use it! It's carried back.
Vandenberg. Graham underneath it. He's got a challenge with Edwil van der Merwe. Velicott gets it into the back's hands. Matt Scott. Velicott to Jamie Ritchie.
Yeah, it is now.
And Edinburgh for the first time with some secure possession. Pierre Schoeman, who goes up against his brother Johan. And Edinburgh do win the penalty. An opportunity to, well, either go for field position or try and get their first points of the game and try and cut this back. I wonder with the altitude whether Ben Healy may fancy taking this on. It looks like he's going for the corner.
Yeah, I think the corner's right up in there. Just in terms of context of the game, Edinburgh need a foothold in the game. They need to try and dictate and, dare I say, slow the timing of the game or the tempo of the game, just so they can claw back some momentum. Interesting, that time Lions went for a contestable exit. Van der Merwe couldn't take it. Das Graham reacted really quickly, and there's Pretorius getting caught on the wrong side. Marshall Sykes making sure he's going nowhere. But Edinburgh needed that penalty. They needed, and here they need to cement some possession.
Taken by Ritchie, who's a great option at the back of the line out. Ashman in field. That little switch back to Darcy Graham, eventually hauled down by Landsberg. Edinburgh looking threatening for the first time. There's Bradbury. Now Sykes, Healy, Tui Pelotu. Well tackled by Moraes. Sykes, the dummy in charge himself.
The Lions have got a solid defensive line on their feet. Edinburgh have to try and break through that. Paul Hill carries, gets in behind a little bit.
New signing from Northampton, Paul Hill. Edinburgh having to go through phase after phase without being able to break through. Pierce Schoeman, ball goes loose, but advantage was being played for Frankie Horn's offside position.
Better from Edinburgh, retaining possession under a bit of pressure. Didn't really particularly threaten the Lions' defence too often, but they've kept possession. I mean, probably look at kicking this goal. I think that might. Let's have a look, see what the decision is. I'm going to touch on this time again, which is fair. But they've got to try and threaten the defence by a bit of movement, trying to get in behind that defensive line. It's really set from the Lions, from the line out. Well, it was offside. I think it was Frankie Horn who was offside. That's what the penalty was for. But from the initial line out, Edinburgh looked to maul, but Ashman broke away really quite quickly before they got a lot of momentum onto the possession. I wonder if they'll keep this in the maul a bit longer this time.
They've had a poor line-out success so far this season, Edinburgh, but Ashman can get this right. It could provide a real platform for Edinburgh to get back into this game. Ritchie to Ashman. Edinburgh are over, but they've been held up, and it will be a goal line dropout.
Ashman had possession. I think it was maybe 3. Is Ashman breaking off Van der Merwe? The left one makes a tackle. I think it was 3. And the Cairns is under there. Clearly not dotted down. Good last-ditch defence from the Lions.
The bouncing ball is a little awkward. And here goes Husen, South African born. Sykes, Healy. Now Ashman finding himself out on the wing. Some help coming from Ross McCann. He did well.
No, off your feet. No, you pulled him over.
Back foot touch it.
Now Hamish Watson injects some energy. A bit of intensity coming from Edinburgh's back row forward.
You know they let them away with it.
Healy looks to put that inside to McCann, who is almost away. This is a lot better from Edinburgh. Schoeman and Sykes. Edinburgh bringing some pace in attack. Matt Scott. Velicott to Pierre Schoeman.
Stay out, Red.
Sykes again with the ball onto McCann, but he left the ball behind. And now Lions can go, and they might fancy this from deep. Oh, they do very much. It's Vandenberg with the kick to Van der Merwe. Edville Van der Merwe, can he finish? Oh, he can. It's the Lions. They go from one end to the other. Blink and you'll miss them. That is absolutely scintillating rugby on the counter-attack from the Lions. You just can't give them the ball anywhere.
Oh, it's brilliant. From one end of the field to the other. Look at the change of line from Vandenberg there has come after getting that support play. Then the chip kick through. I'm sure Edville Van der Merwe was in line and he had to be patient and wait till it popped up. Then he pirouettes and dodged down under a bit of pressure. But after the turnover, similar to last week against the Bulls for Edinburgh, they were turned over 5 metres from the opposition line. They've conceded a try at their own goal line. But there was a brilliant piece of decision making by Juan Horn, the fullback. The ball, was turned over, it found its way to Horn, the 15, and most players just automatically kick because they've been under pressure, because they've been, lost the advantage line 3 or 4 times back to back as Edinburgh built up a bit of pressure in terms of attack. But you could just see him looking up, noticing that the space was on wide to his left and throwing the long ball, and the rest was just brilliant.
Voluter from out wide, draws it back round for 2 more, and well, what a commanding lead the Emirates Lions are building in Johannesburg.
Yeah, it's a pirouette. It's just that decision not to keep a calm head when you've been defending for so long, and then know that the space is out there, then deliver the big long pass. And the change of line and the support line from Vandenberg, just to accelerate through to get that, to be on the shoulder, was excellent and well finished as well.
Edville Van der Merwe, who scored on his Springbok debut against Wales in June.
We said beforehand that the way that the Lions play, that they're able to score quickly and score in bursts of 2 and 3 tries, but they will give opposition opportunities. Similar last week, just when Ulster scored just before half time, it became really important that Edinburgh just have to stay in this game and try and get something, because there will be opportunities even later on.
Right now it is just threatening to get away from them. Edinburgh have to get some points on the board next. It's to Pilotu, down it goes, and here goes Cronje. He's still got it. Eventually hauled down. Then goes Watson for the steal, and it will be an Edinburgh penalty.
Penalty only. Okay, thank you. Croc roll by yourself, number 14. Penalty only.
It's a penalty anyway. Max Wani being penalised for a croc roll, and also Hamish Watson had won the turnover and won the penalty initially. I think he did well to get back, didn't he, Watson? Cronje just couldn't quite get his hands free to that man Max Wani. If it was, then I don't think anybody would have been back from an Edinburgh perspective to catch Max Wani, but they got in the passing channel, they got back, made the tackle, and Ross McCann got back there. It was the tackle, and first on the scene, as all good sevens are, Hamish Watson wins the shoulder batter under Max Wani, and there's a croc roll. Important turnover for Edinburgh.
Now Gilchrist with the claim at the line out. I think it was Bradbury taking on a little further, and now Schumann. Bradbury, Healy coming into the line. Now Ross McCann, who's seen plenty of action in the opening 24 minutes of this game. Sykes. Healy to put boot to ball.
Stop.
Change of approach from Edinburgh. And Juan Horn. with a relatively straightforward mark.
Yeah, contestable kick just a little bit too long. Edinburgh, when they get numbers in that line, in the defensive line, the high line of the defensive line, they get a little bit more success. Ross McCann working hard off his wing a couple of times. Marshall Sykes, Piers Kuman making yards into the defence, but they can't capitalise on it. They can't get a few enough faces back to back in order to actually properly break free. And then Horn, his basics are as good as his flash parts, isn't it? Nice easy mark, good clearance up the field.
Edinburgh go quickly, but the Lions were on to it. Vandenberg, and now Van der Merwe. Volatil with the pass on to Horn now. With loose ball. There was another opportunity for the Lions. It's going to come back on their side. Now the looping pass out to Frankie Horn. Vandenberg were rather pretorious up to the 22. And Flabakanye. Oh, and bursting on at pace for another score. Reinhard Jonker. That's the bonus point up already. 26.5 minutes on the clock. The Lions are blowing Edinburgh out of the water here.
Oh, the highlights reel from the Lions try last season was exceptional. This season just adding to it. Look at the number of options they've got. That's Jonker just cutting a brilliant line late on because Edinburgh are just broken. They're sitting, they can't come forward as a defensive line. They're under penalty advantage. But what about the carry from Pretorius as well up that left-hand side? All originated from an Edinburgh line-out as well, where it was one against the throw, and then Edwin van der Merwe made a bit of yardage up the midfield, and then just, well, they're just so good at keeping the ball alive. And Edinburgh just, there's almost no line speed because there's not a fixed point to get sorted from to get up, to shut them down. It's brilliant to watch, the attacking mindset and the skill set as well. And really are a force to defend against the Lions.
Volatil with a straightforward extra two. And Jonker, as we mentioned previously, impressed in the Currie Cup and getting his opportunity in the full team.
When you're going forward and when you've got and penalty advantage, you can see the game as an outside back unfolding in front of you. You can just pick your line, and his timing there, I mean, you could see the gap he was aiming for, and all he had to do is time his line. His time is run onto the ball, cut through untouched. I mean, how many tries do you see, you know, attackers going through untouched from 20 metres out? It just doesn't usually happen.
Vandenberg, distance again on his clearance. How deep would your concerns be for Edinburgh at this stage? They won't be panicking in the coaching box, but there needs to be something different.
Yeah, there needs to be something different. There needs to be possession. When they have got possession, they're almost not doing enough with it in terms of variety, so you get into a rhythm with how they're attacking. It's quite comfortable for the Lions to defend against. You know, the set piece that lost the last line out, they had a decent driving maul close to the line. Here we're going off the top, the direct route from Matt Scott, but the support players have to be there really quickly. Here I think Edinburgh should try to shift the point of attack, try not to rely too much on the forwards, alternate between forwards and back, move the point of attack just like that, and try and find a chink in that Lions defence.
Matt Scott with the latest carry. Ashman, Healy. Now Watson, again injecting some pace onto the ball. Ashman and Schumann.
Edinburgh's defence is quite deep as well. Attack, so is quite deep. All the passes are quite far away from the Lions line.
Healy neatly out the back of the hands to Jamie Ritchie. And this is what we've seen from Edinburgh so far, is having to put in an awful lot of effort to not gain too much yardage and field position. There's Tui Pilotu. Velicott thinking that he's seen space. It's well covered though in the backfield.
It's good defence from the Lions, and it's frustrating to play against when everything's, you know, when your attack's always in front of defence. You're never really stressing it, so you have to go put your boot in the ball at some point. Velicott, so he's trying to find space and just bubble that in behind, as well covered by Edville van der Merwe. This is where Edinburgh can try and strike.
Stop! Retire!
To the sky it goes, and a bouncing ball.
Play on, competition back from red.
Horn.
This is dangerous again.
Certainly is. Here's Jonker. He just put his foot on the accelerator. He was almost away. Vandenberg and Klabakanye. Great footwork from the big man. 153 kilos, but he's got the skills to go with it. There's no doubt about that. Oh, it's wonderful from Voluter. He's got options here. Maxwane's the obvious one. It's going to be a double for the winger. It's 5 tries in just over half an hour from the Emirates Lions. They cannot be touched this afternoon in Johannesburg.
It's very similar script, isn't it? Edinburgh kicking, they took the quick line out and kicked, and when their defence was a 6s and 7s, and you got that sense that, you know, we said beforehand, you can't kick poorly or inaccurately to a team that wants to counter-attack, that scores more tries than anyone else in the league from originating from their own half. They come alive, and you knew that with the fatiguing element, the stage in the game, and the fact that Edinburgh just had a big attack and got nothing from it, that's where, as frustrating as it sounds, you almost have to try and dictate the pace of the game. They're playing into the Lions' hands at the moment, but I must say the Lions are good enough to take it as well. Volhutter there with it's actually an offload dummy. He looked to play it out the back of the hand, decided to hold on to it, that broke through, and then have another look at just the support lines of Maxwane. Just his more effort and desire to get in the end of the pass than anyone else, and it crosses in the corner, and he could have gone inside to Vandenberg. He went outside to Maxwane. There's another run in for the right winger. We're looking to see if that's gone forward or not, but Adam Jones says there's nothing wrong with it, and we're on to the conversion.
Volter will attempt from the touchline. Flags go up as well. The points just keep on rolling for the Emirates Lions. And you could see in the defensive, I don't know if we'll get back that far, but when Voluter managed to make the breakthrough and Darcy Graham realised that he'd missed an attempted interception, once they were in behind, there was no stopping.
With the pace they've got in the attacking mindset, that's all they're looking for. They're just looking for a metre or two on front football, in behind the defensive line, and they flood through and they make the most of it. That's an attacking mentality. We keep talking about it, but the basics and their decision making has been excellent so far as well. The Lions, the defence has frustrated Edinburgh. It's just a masterclass so far from the home side.
Klabakanye.
Don't put him over then. Stay.
Vandenberg.
Stop in front.
Back to Horn. You know, I think you've got to admire this Lions side and the way that Ivan van Rooyen has got them playing. They don't have the names. They can't attract what, you know, the Sharks and the Stormers and the Bulls can, but they play a wonderful brand of rugby. It's open, it's certainly entertaining. It might not win championships, but they can beat anyone on their day.
Absolutely, and it came close with the Currie Cup as well. You know, they are a side that, you know, have had success and have a successful DNA behind them. It's Landsberg, who's been outstanding in the first half hour, taking a knock. But it's also a style of rugby that they look to be enjoying. Smiles on their faces, they come alive, they understand there's a risk attached to it. But when they're on. I think they play Dragons, travel to Dragons next week, and then Zebra Parma. So if they can take this form on the road, there's an interesting change as well. The handball on at 10. Player who can play equally comfortable at 9 or 10.
On the line for me, boys.
That's an injury. I'm not sure what's happened there, but yeah, it's a brilliant brand of rugby to watch. Frustrating to play against. It looks like pretty fun to play. Patrick Harrison on as well.
Well, hooker for Edinburgh. Harry Harrison coming on, and there he is. Another one who's been rocked by injuries in the last year and a half. Great to see him back for Edinburgh. Now Darcy Graham. Can Edinburgh find something on the scoreboard before half-time? Pierre Schoeman. Healy. Tackled by Klabakanye.
Pierre Schoeman, sorry, he's rolling his sleeves up. There's 3 massive carries in this phase alone, so it results in a turnover. So the effort and endeavours there, but there's no real threat to that Lions defence. Edvald van der Merwe as well fancies this. He's got a bit to make up in Goosen.
It's perfect waiting on the kick. Goosen just gets it clear.
Keep retreating.
Had a chance on the counter-attack here.
Good.
Kjuan Horn beats Goosen. Palms off. Bradbury had Frankie Horn alongside him. He's also got van der Merwe. Now Frankie Horn gets it. The Lions score again. It is relentless from the Emirates Lions.
Well, we said the last time it was a carbon cover, it's the same again. It's counter-attack, starting from inside their own half, or around halfway from a loose kick. Goosen wants that ball to go over the touchline, his try line, so he can dot it down, but it's a long enough kick to halfway, but it doesn't go out, and then it comes alive, beats the first chase, gets off away from Manus Bradbury, who gets back to make the tackle, but then it's just all about numbers. Edvald van der Merwe picks up, Frankie Horn's there. The attack have got more numbers there. The support lines are better than the defensive lines. And even though there's last-ditch scramble effort and defence from Edinburgh, there's always another attacker there. And Frankie Horn has had a massive impact again so far. Keeping the ball alive, hand to hand. There's no fixed point for Edinburgh's defence to get set, but there's too many missed tackles, similar to the Ulster game last week. And if there was a warning that Edinburgh needed, it was watching that Ulster game last week. Don't kick loosely. And if you do kick, your chase has to be rock solid, or this Lions team will rip you apart.
20 now.
So Scintillating Nahamba just off the bench and taking over the kicking duties. That one will not draw back round. What a scoreline. The Lions going in at over a point a minute in this first half.
Both Horns, the try scorer and the initial creator, Kwan, fullback, having big games. And it's exactly the type, if you could imagine what the Lions midweek or through the week would have prepped for, what would be the perfect game for us? Fast and loose, open, and it's exactly what it's turned out to be. So this is almost exactly what Edinburgh wouldn't have wanted, and it suits the home team down to a T at the moment. Not sure if he touched it. Did anybody touch it? Must have done. Edinburgh's thrown.
Harris into the tail, but up goes Frankie Horn. He's got the full array of talents and attributes, the number 8.
Use it!
Teammate Pretorius as well has had a big shock of blonde hair, picking up, almost looks like a centre or a back 3 player attacking that there. That's a good take from Darcy Graham.
Yeah, authority on the take from the Edinburgh winger. Now Bradbury. McCann caught and held up by Cronje. Velikot deciding to attack the blind side. Nice one for Jamie Ritchie to go and rescue, but it just means Edinburgh lose that ground that they gain. But coming back is McCann. Doesn't quite go to hand. It has now gone forward.
It's a danger again, Rory.
Okay. Play on.
Nahamba. He's got 2 outside him. Beats the first man. Then gets the pass away. Here's van der Merwe with the chip over the top. Is he going to finish again? It's all about the bounce of the ball. Edinburgh are being ripped apart in the first half in Johannesburg. They might just get to half-time under the 50 points, but Edwil van der Merwe goes in again, his second try of the game.
Again, it's a turnover, isn't it? I mean, Edinburgh, Ross McCann does really well to break through, get his hands free, but the offload doesn't go to hand, and then it's just the reaction. It's exactly what the Lions want, and my goodness, their skill set and their mindset and their ambition has to be there to finish off it as well. Van der Merwe with a pretty impressive dive as well, getting some good airtime, but you just know, you sense it. I've said it 2 or 3 times in commentary, you know this is a threat for Edinburgh, whether it's the kick, the long kick without an adequate quick chase, or from the turnover. It's a mindset, and also that just the speed of reaction from the Lions. They're brilliant to watch, but Edinburgh have to get a control of possession, control of the ball, and it's going to be an even longer second half.
Well, that was absolutely a show of brutal rugby from the Emirates Lions. 7 tries to 0, and Edinburgh in real trouble. At the break, it is the Emirates Lions 48.
Edinburgh ready. Time on, Ed.
And that's been broken by 2 points. As Ben Healy gets us back underway. Dragged into touch, so Edinburgh will have the line out at least here.
On the line then, Lions, please.
Patrick Harrison continuing
15.
at hooker after coming on for Ewan Ashman. It was a head injury assessment for the hooker, and this will be a permanent change. And here goes the replacement, Harrison. Sykes now managed to break through the first tackle. Schoeman. Velicott to Bradbury. And Matt Scott. Healy hands out to McCann.
I'll explain it. Just the 2 captains to me then a sec, please. Penalty only, Keith. Okay, thank you. Just the captain here a sec, and the captain. Okay. So we had a side entry over there against number 5, red. We then have a croc roll here by blue. Foul play is higher than an infringement over there for a technical. So a foul play penalty to the Lions here for a croc roll.
Adam Jones clear in his explanation there, and it just adds to Edinburgh's frustrations.
I'll get the number now for you.
A bit more direct, a better maul initially from Edinburgh, got a bit of momentum, put them on the front foot. Schoeman carried hard. Patrick Harrison again, Marshall Sykes, but it was still all in front of the Lions defence. They did look a little bit more under pressure, Lions defence, but it was still able to be snuffed out on the left hand side, and one of them was breakdown. There was a crook roll from Edinburgh, so the leaving penalty is welcome from the Lions perspective, and Horn can clear it away.
From Sean Everett's perspective, what can you say at half time?
You have to draw a line and say, listen, it's a 40-minute game. You have to, show us that you deserve to, make that jersey yours. You have to have a desire, obviously, but there has to be cohesion as well, and a clear plan. And said upstairs, we have to try and get our hands on the ball and make it more difficult defensively for the Lions by a better variation.
Hamba just got it away in time.
Yep.
Does have a chaser,
Number
but
10, number 4. Yep, number 4. Ball down.
not Nagel.
Number 4 and number 2.
Treated, neither Moraes.
But even that, as an example, Cronje gets up and wins that ball before. I mean, he kind of knew the penalty was coming, especially with the new law variation in terms of players having to retreat within that 10-metre radius, being really, hotly refereed.
Number 3 was the croc roll.
Even still, you see it as an opportunity to try and win the ball, try and play against an unstructured defence, but it was Cronje, the one Lions jersey, that won it ahead of 3 or 4 Edinburgh jerseys.
Straight up and down, not across.
So now from 5 metres out, Harrison
More.
finds Gilchrist.
Stay back,
The
stay
Lions
back.
will be
That's
determined to keep
once.
this at 0 for as long as they possibly
Use the ball,
can.
use the ball. Let's go.
Edinburgh simply have to get something on the scoreboard. Harrison with the step. Cairns managing to snag him. Now Watson from short range. Ritchie.
Tackle.
Further. Watson will pick and go, and advantage here for Edinburgh. And now Ritchie. The forwards putting in all the effort here to desperately try to get Edinburgh over the line and salvage some pride from this game. Hill gets the pass on, and they do get the score, and the captain, Grant Gilchrist, gets Edinburgh on the board at long, long last.
Yeah, it's important that the first points from an Edinburgh perspective come from Edinburgh in this second half. Again, better from Edinburgh in terms of just shifting the ball a little bit. A nice little pop pass from I think it was Hill just before the Gilchrist scores. Ben Velka organised. I still think there's a shift pass. Yeah, it was Paul Hill obviously popped up to Grant Gilchrist who got through. There's definitely an opportunity for Edinburgh to move that and score 1 or 2 phases earlier, I think, especially when penalty advantage, but they did get there. Healy adds the extras, and that's the first step. That's the first thing that, you know, you'll be given small steps. We said, yeah, make it a 40-minute game, look at the second half, but, you know, break down how can you be most effective, and the first objective would have been scoring first, get back in the game, get more possession. It's certainly done that. I still think that there can be more variety and shifting of the target to stress the Lions' defence more. Lions just
Message across. Cheers,
all the
Captain.
tricks in the book, taken as long as they possibly can, walking up slowly to take the kick-off, just to try and take any momentum that Edinburgh feel they've got from that try out of the game.
Bradbury with the take from the kick-off.
Just take a step for me. Clearly onside. And you, yep, inside.
Not to take it quickly was Hamba.
Good clearance
I'm just going to have a word with him.
from Velcut there. You heard Adam Jones, the referee, saying you're inside, so that means he can put it straight into touch.
That's it, front man on me, boys.
Just
Come
like
across
Vandenberg
6.
in the first half, he's got up over halfway. It's always a good barometer towards the 10 metre. It's a good judge of how successful their exit's been.
On the flip side, when you look at the Emirates Lions approach, and I mean that first half was so impressive, do you need to then go in at the break and almost reassess your motivation levels?
No, I don't think so. I think the key point to make is, listen, we've gotten in this position because we've been cohesive, we've worked as a team, we've stuck to a structure, we've not got an individual. And the threat sometimes when you're so far ahead is that players start to think and play individually, and that's where the opposition come in. So I wouldn't say it's motivation level, it's just the discipline to stay in your structure and don't try and take the opportunity to be an individual.
So Edinburgh will have the put in. You see Ben Healy coming across there just to congratulate the forwards on their effort.
Yeah, they're just trying to get anything to keep up, change the atmosphere of the game. Just any small victory, like that turnover ball, just almost over-exaggerate how important it is to try and get that momentum in the game.
Both of you going up to try and get rewarded. I'm not going to buy it, okay?
Many
Down,
scrums, to be honest.
forward, both sides to be rewarded.
I don't know how many we've had, but we've not really had a huge amount of scrums. There's been more tries than scrums possible in the first half, so interesting to see how we got on with this one. Labakani, obviously a tight head for the Lions, is a formidable unit. The scrum, and he'll be trying to put Schumann under all sorts of pressure here because there's on that wide right hand side. Schumann's done well.
Darcy Graham. Healy along the line, 2 per law 2. Leverkusen. Bradbury. Collision between he and his opposite number, Frankie Horn. It's to Pelotu and hitting the line at speed there. Pierre Schoeman. There'll be another penalty here. Defender not rolling away quite clearly.
Yeah, the momentum's building with Edinburgh because they're able to control the game better. They're making yards off that first attack. They're moving the ball. They've much better rhythm in terms of making it more difficult for Lions defensively. It's not rolling away that time. And when you back up penalty and penalty and penalty, it does shift the momentum of the game. So Edinburgh have to try and use these little bits of momentum to try and stay in the game. The Lions will be frustrated because
make sure they're all on you.
I don't know, it's like third or fourth penalty since half time. They'll be looking to get their hands on the ball. They would enjoy the first half far more than the first 10 minutes of the second.
Chance to threaten again. Sykes takes it, gets it back to Harrison.
Once!
If Edinburgh can get another one, they can start to
Use
think
the
of
ball,
the possibility of 4 tries, and coming away with anything from Johannesburg would be a huge bonus. Schoeman.
Tackle!
Tackled by Pretorius, but Schoeman keeps going.
First, we come back here.
Back we go for the penalty.
Carry on. 2 seconds, please. Captain to me, please.
Not allowed to take it quickly. There will be a talking to for Frankie Horn here.
When the tackle's complete. Okay. 10 minutes into the second half now. Every time we see you come down here, the penalties are mounting. I know you're under pressure, but this is the opportunity to speak to your team. Discipline needs to improve. Time's off. Will you speak to them, please?
Yeah, there's the warning. It's a difficult one, that one there from Pretorius and Schoeman, because Pretorius wants to hold him up, but Schoeman gets his knee to the ground, so the tackle's completed. But the 2 meters for line, you don't want to let go. At the same time, obviously, Pierre Schoeman can't continue through the tackle, so it is almost like a who blinks first.
Edinburgh go with the tap at Pierre Schoeman. Gilchrist onto Harrison. Second score of the second half for Edinburgh. It's a bit more like it from the Scots. And Patrick Harrison off the bench to score.
He's got a knack of scoring tries. We mentioned Schoeman in the first half. Marshall Sykes carrying a lot of possession, and he certainly has stood up again. Pierre Schoeman, time and time again, he's just getting in behind that defensive line and coming back down the short side. Patrick Harrison, powerful ball carrier, but he's got good footwork as well. And as a result of winning those small battles, winning the momentum, winning the penalty count, Edinburgh have got themselves 2 tries within 10 minutes on the start of this second half.
I'll give you 20 seconds off the table because you can hardly see it. Yeah, okay. And then I'll count you down from 5 as well then to make sure. Okay, no problem at all. If he wants anything different, just let me know and I'll change it for you.
His conversion is good, so they've certainly reduced the deficit.
Again, that little flick, it's the same play, isn't it? Grant Gilchrist, rather than picking and going himself, just flicks it to the first receiver, and then Patrick Harrison, because he's going forward, can get that little bit of footwork. He can just drift onto the outside shoulder of the defender, then have the power to drive through. Lions haven't touched the ball in the second half, and they're 14-0 down. It's far, it's an awful long way for Edinburgh to go, but the Lions won't be concerned, but they'll be wanting to try and wrestle back some form of control, and that'll start with possession.
But that's what Edinburgh will, you would think, be on their minds now. Is, well, the next barrier is four tries.
Use it
to take something from this, because at 48-0 down at half time, you're thinking just get out of here emotionally unscarred.
No touch play on.
If they can take a point, that would be 4 bonus points from their opening 3 games. Is a slight positive. We know the difficulties and the problems that occurred with their lack of bonus points last season. There will be 3 defeats, but to have taken 4 points if they can do that. It's a long way off.
Well, it's equivalent to 1 win, isn't it? But I mean, how competitive the URC is. You know, you need more. It's a tough old race to that top 8. But the most you can pick up, or as much as you want to pick up something every single game, and if all that can be is 1 point, then the 1 point's better than none. The intensity's dropped to the game. The intensity's dropped from
Just don't dummy the ball.
the Lions'
Don't
defence
dummy.
as well. You
Use
see the
it.
lull from their perspective. Said at half time, the second half almost as much to depends on how the Lions approach it as Edinburgh approaches it.
What are you tackling in the air?
Take
Play on.
away Nahamba, and then
Off your
Cairns
feet, 7.
scrambling for the ball on the floor. Vandenberg, Nahamba, Horn, Maxwani, and now you can hear the anticipation growing in the crowd as the backs start to get into their running again. Vandenberg looking to get that out the back and onto Frankie
Line
Horn.
out.
Forward it
Edinburgh
goes.
ball.
A couple of better, well, 2 or 3 better points of defence from an Edinburgh perspective. They're up quicker. They're giving the Lions less time. The Lions still got to that outside channel, but Ross McCann did a really good job of wrapping up Max Wani and shutting off the offload. He managed to get his arm round in the tackle to stop the offload, and then again with Vandenberg there. Vandenberg did get the offload away, but it wasn't controlled. It's into touch, and Edinburgh win the turnover. So getting off the line that little bit quicker, and just a big focus on stopping the offload will hopefully give Edinburgh a little bit more joy defensively.
Happy captain. Your ball, line out. Time back on then, let's keep the momentum in the game.
Sometimes the difficult fixtures to start Edinburgh's
Let's go, boys.
season. Next up, the DHL Stormers in the Scottish capital.
Stay where you are, stay where you
Travel
are.
home first as well. That's with travel, and it's someone else that will have to take into consideration in terms of when is the best time to train. I know it's all been planned
Sorry,
and scheduled
they've
beforehand.
just made a change, so I'm going to give them the...
You know that's it's a long travel. Do they get home probably Monday,
Keep it
So
nice
do
and
they-
tidy now.
front load the week, or do they take some time off? It's all about maximising the opportunity to perform the following Saturday. So all these things to take into consideration as well.
Ben Lancaster's come on for Hamish Watson. The attempted tap from Gilchrist.
Clear release.
Didn't go to hand, and
You've always got your right hand
Lions
on the
penalty.
tackle.
And Jimmy Richard
Just up easy, boys, up easy. Number
getting
6, no clear
a
release.
reasonable jackal position before he lost his feet, but was deemed to not release part of the initial tackle, so has to have a clear release before going back in the ball. I'm sure Richie agrees with it. Again, it was an Edinburgh line out that hasn't been executed properly. James Ritchie, is part of the tackle there. And not a clear enough release before going back in the ball. Fair penalty. Decent kick from the hammer as well, isn't it? 5 metres out, it changes the options available to the Lions if they do want to drive it. No sure if a line out drive's fancy enough for the Lions to score a try. The sparkle.
Maul.
The front for Knocknagel. Moraes now attaching himself to the back of this maul.
Down by Red to the ground.
Scooble's done well in there. Pierre, that is.
Something in Edinburgh put it.
Yeah, he's done really well, Pierre Schumann. Just as the initial maul spun, he kept his position and he found himself in the Lions side of the maul and wrapped up the ball. I think he's working his way through.
Okay.
There's a ball going to deck from the Lions.
Here we go then.
So they brought it to deck, maul collapse, turnover.
Bud Fenter and Darcy Ray also coming on, changing the props. Pierre Schumann and Paul Hill making way.
Paul Hill's been a good addition to Edinburgh in the first couple of weeks. He's in that tight head position, loads of experience. It's a slow walk back to the bench.
Crouch.
For him. He's certainly brought a bit of experience to that front row.
Set.
Yeah, big scrum.
Up with the elbow, Lucid.
Bradbury to Scott. Start the exit for Edinburgh from their own line. There's a bit of extra space to Healy.
One of the Edinburgh replacements, I think, tried to touch the ball so it couldn't be taken quickly, but Ben Healy did what he had to do, got off the field. Monty van den Berg, who we've spoken about a lot today, a really good job there, just flying through and applying as much pressure as possible onto Ben Healy for the exit kick. That's his role in the team, one of his roles in the team, because he wants, basically they want kick attack, they want to try and counter-attack from kick receipt, so the more pressure on the clearance kicker, the more chance that it maybe isn't off the field and you can launch that counter-attack. So Van den Berg did well, but Healy was able to get the ball away and off the field.
Landsberg off the top and now hitting that line hard with Jonker. Cairns getting numbers in and around. Cairns does get to ground though. Landsberg is carried really well.
Blue, knock on.
And forward, Bradbury, Healy, and straight to
advantage.
Vandenberg, so Edinburgh will
Come back to the knock on from Red.
back to the scrum.
I'd be disappointed if a scrum half didn't call for that. You could you just tell.
Okay, thank you.
We're calling for the inside ball, even though he's in the opposition team, but clever again because he come back, the knock-on advantage. Found himself, after the ball was spilled with Cronje, number 9 found himself on the wrong side. We'll have a look, see if we let read.
Thank you.
I'm sure if he did.
I think he's been practicing his Scottish accent. It's like, geese it.
My ball.
Just asked him to go straighter now as well for you, to make it easier for you. Okay, so I'll come this side. Yeah, time's off. I'm just saying that, I've just asked the tight end to stay a bit squarer, so it makes it easier for him.
It's been quite a difficult 2 or 3 weeks injury-wise for Edinburgh as well, hasn't it? You mentioned it at the start of the game, and when you think Stormers to come next week and to travel, and the limited
time back on then,
you have to work together. Mark Bennett picked up an injury last week. Dave Cherry,
really
Adam Buffelli, long term, and
just yet.
It'll be interesting to see what the makeup of the squad next week as well.
Well, we don't know what the synopsis is on Johan van der Merwe, but he was in the starting lineup for this one and replaced just about an hour before kick-off.
Crouch!
Ewan Ashman's gone off with a head injury.
Bind! Set! Steady! Okay.
I read this week.
Let's just chase your
breaking
feet.
Tulsa,
Okay. And let's get this bind a little longer.
Saying that the Lions could be surprise package this year. What do you think is the next
Up off
step,
your knees and a better
how
bind.
high can that step be for this team?
Well, they just narrowly missed out in top 8 last year, but I'd say they're a better side than that. And they've improved as the season went on. Some of the performances in the last 4 or 5 weeks were pretty special. Even Van Rooyen there, the man in the picture, has made a real big difference over the last maybe 18 months. Prior to that, they were a team that they lost way too many games, but you can see just watching them the threat that they pose. I suppose the next big step is replicating that away from home. It's a good scrum from Edinburgh.
Up my side, the loose head, and angle
Long
of the
scrum
tight
winning the
head.
penalty. So for the Lions, I mean, they keep quite a consistent squad throughout the year. They don't have too many players in and out the Springboks, the current Springbok squad. So they do get an opportunity to be cohesive, to play together. And with that attack, they're going to threaten anyone. It's just the defence that we spoke about before the show that probably needs to improve a little bit. But so far, especially in the first half, that hasn't moved. It's been far more consistent. So yeah, I think they'll be targeting playoff place, absolutely.
Imagine that develops a real team mentality as well when you maybe don't have those big names, or maybe you've maybe feel overlooked by the Springboks, and maybe gets a
For the
bit
ball
of
and backwards.
grip between your teeth. And they've been showing it in these opening 2 games of the season, but particularly this
Just a
afternoon.
knock on. He's ripped the ball before the player got to the
Come
ground.
on
Scrum.
for
Blue ball.
Edinburgh at fly half.
Yeah. Okay. Time off.
Torres again. Stripped the possession, but he's knocked
1,
it on.
2,
He's been impressed
3,
in the back row. Venter's
5
missing
and 11 red.
this week in the back row for Lions, who's another terrific player. It's maybe just because they're not some of the household names that we associate with the Springboks that, you know, some people maybe treat the Lions as not as serious a threat as the Bulls and Stormers and the Sharks, but they're quality outfit, they really are. And get a lot of plaudits and a lot of support for the way they play as well. Here's Pretorius coming in. Cairns with a tackle low. Pretorius going for the ball. Magnus Bradbury really has to protect that ball, tuck it under the shoulder. We used to talk about getting as many pressure points of the ball as possible, so squeezing the ball against your chest with your hand, your wrist, your elbow, really protecting it.
See a new front row for the Lions. Jakob Visaki, Heiko Polman. So it's a debut actually for Polman, and also Conrad van Vuren coming on.
Play away.
Come by Velicott now. Kuan Horn loves finding that extra space. Jonker, Horn providing the link as well.
It's a much better kick chase from Edinburgh. The initial tackle, just Horn wriggled out of Richie, but then Matt Scott was there.
No, you're inside. Out to there. Out to there.
And it's a much better line, forcing Nohamba to kick.
And straight into the hands of Darcy Graham. Chance to get up to full tilt for the winger.
Play advantage, kicking the ball through the breakdown.
So Edinburgh playing with advantage. McCann.
Yeah.
Hinkel van Veek also coming on for the Lions.
Yeah. No advantage,
Go on,
always going
Venter.
backwards, kicking the ball through the breakdown.
Back for the penalty.
Number 7,
Yeah, it was
kicking
Jared
the ball
Cairns.
through the
I'm
breakdown.
not sure if he kicked it or he tripped over it. He was trying to counter-ruck and drive right through. There's probably a high tackle later on as well from the Lions, but we'll come back for the initial penalty.
Going to be honest, I wasn't completely sure of your entry point. That's why I called you off. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't 100% sure.
Neville van den Hoover has gone off, so he'll be denied his hat-trick. Just the 2 tries. And the Lions scoreless in this second half is the main surprise after how lethal they were in that first 40 minutes. Ben Muncaster, back from another injury. Edinburgh back row forward.
Once.
Velicott to Matt Scott, and Pretorius giving him no time on the ball. Ritchie and Bradbury gets it on to Muncaster. Harrison. Gilchrist to Venter.
Off your feet.
Edinburgh to within 5 metres.
Advantage, just flopped on top of the ball.
And with a penalty, and there have been quite a few penalties against the Lions in this second half. I wonder how close Adam Jones is. Well, he is very close.
Give her a
because
clear warning when we come down here.
it is
Just flopped on play.
a yellow card.
Yeah, the warning came beforehand, didn't it? And I think it's the number of penalties, but also the proximity to the Lions line. Is it Van Vuren? Polman. Yeah.
Michael Tolman, who's
Time off. Just going to let the
just come on
captain
to
finish
make his
job.
debut, and he's only lasted a couple of minutes.
Keep the hooker there now, okay.
Yes, but again, Edinburgh keeping possession better, but it went you know, and it has forced the penalty, it has forced the error, but it was, I think it was Ritchie feeding Bradbury, feeding Marshall Sykes, Paddy Harrison, Paul, and then Marshall Sykes carried again. It's all forwards, quite like the balance between a forward or two forward carries to one backs carry, just so you're always making that defence think. But they did retain possession, they have forced the error, and there's an opportunity to throw in 5 metres from the opposition line in search of the third try of the second half.
You take at the front from Grant Gilchrist. Harrison now has it at the tail.
Once!
To look to pick his moment to peel off. He's already scored once since coming off the bench. Patrick Harrison now goes. He only had Velicott for company. Now Fenter. Gilchrist. Ball is there, presented for Ben Velicott. Now Ben Ritchie. Jamie Ritchie rather, and Velicott once more. Venter waits, McCann is in there. One pass out, and Muncaster has got over for Edinburgh's third try. 3 tries to 0 in this second half. Ben Muncaster off the bench and over the line.
Yeah, hard work, wasn't it? Direct, hard carries. Good maul initially, and then there was a series of pick and goes against the 14 men. Muncaster had to fight, that's the initial movement, and then the place towards the line, he makes it under the 3 defenders really, so he's run really well to fight through and dot that down. That's exactly what we said, Edinburgh. The primary objective was to start that second half, win the second half, and then chip away. And now 15 minutes or so remaining, there's an opportunity to go for that fourth try. But it's patient build up against the 40 men of the Lions, and then managed to drive their way over through Muncaster.
Ross Thompson is good with the conversion. Well, it puts a degree of respectability about the scoreline. That first half, and a record-breaking first half, must hurt the ego.
Yeah,
from an Edinburgh point of view.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've been in situations of that, and the harder you try, the more individual you get, the more goes against you, and it just takes moments of leadership and moments of cohesion to say, listen, let's work together. We're all working hard, but we're all doing different things, and they just couldn't stem the tide. They couldn't get a foothold in the game, whether it was from a bit contact in defence, whether it was a bit of spark in attack. The Lions dictated everything in that first half, and Edinburgh, to their credit, have come out with a plan in the second half, and I've gotten something
Red ball
from it so far. 21-0 after, second half lead, but it's not enough.
Frankie Horn straightens. He had such an impact in that opening 40 minutes.
But think how quick the tempo was and the play was with the Lions. The first half is really slow in the second half, which has suited Edinburgh more. The Lions are looking to build the tempo here again.
Nagel.
No, tackles away.
It's understandable that we didn't have the same intensity that they had in that first half. Jakob Isaki. Chopped down with Van Vuren.
A better line speed from Jamie Hodgson, getting up, making that challenge behind the gain line. Tom Dodd again. Now the Lions are getting a little bit narrow in their attack because they're not winning the advantage line. They're not getting through that first line of defence.
Right. On to Horn.
Let it go, Rello!
Hamba. Sonye. Comes Husson with
Never
the tackle.
on the ball, it's just on the player.
We approach the final 10 minutes, still over half of the sin binning for Pullman required to play out. And there's advantage and a penalty
First from here if you
for
want.
the Lions, which Vandenberg was
16 not rolling, allows 5.
rather interested in taking quickly.
I'm sure the rest of his 13 teammates were. Horn again, almost getting away from fullback, but better defence from Edinburgh, and you can see how narrow the Lions got. They weren't getting the opportunity to get the ball out wide to the back three of the midfield that caused so much damage in the first half, because Edinburgh's line speed was better, the initial contact and defence was better, the challenge over the ball was better. Tom Dodd there going low. Is it Patrick Harrison who's deemed not to roll away? Pretty quick on the whistle, I think, there, but better defence that time from Edinburgh. I think Volhunter going off, it's probably disrupted the flow a wee bit. Nahamba playing at 10 looks, because he's equally happy at 9, he looks a wee bit closer to the breakdown, so that the width maybe naturally isn't there.
We've got 2 lines. You've left the line out to form the maul early. There's 3 players there who have formed a second line, which will allow more of a maul punch into it. They need to be in the line, okay? They can't leave the line out early. So we go again, boys, yep. No. In URC, we're just telling the teams and making sure then they do it right next time. I do the same with you.
Because last year that was free kick, and it was the same last week with the Bulls game against Edinburgh.
So get the
Bulls
timing right, please.
We're saying let's go again, don't leave the line out early, so it's an attempt to keep the game flowing.
Horn to Pretorius now. Muncaster halting him. Ruben Schumann. Van Veek to Pilotu, holding that one up. Along with Scott, the 2 centres working really hard. Vandenberg, Kjuan Horn, and that spells danger again, because Rabs Maxwani completes his hat-trick, and the Lions do make their mark on this second half and creep over the 50-point mark.
Yeah, it's just so easy almost on the outside when Maxwani touches the ball, but the hard work's been done before that. The pick and go, this ball there, just a little bit wider. Horn again, distributor this time rather than ball carrier, just delivers a lovely pass to Rabs Maxwani. But so often we see teams just keeping it really close to the breakdown. The Lions are prepared to take that risk, to go in behind 2 players 5 metres from the opposition line and then get a second long pass away, because the quality of the player in the outside channel is so dangerous. Maxwani crosses for his hat-trick in the corner. It was a good pass from Horn and a good decision at the base from Vandenberg.
Scintillating, Nahamba. 7 minutes left to play. And the extra 2. 55-21. The Emirates Lions lead.
Substitutions. Number 9.
Yeah, you're within 5 metres of the line, and you can still get 2 wide passes away.
Everyone happy?
And it shows you that, you know, for there almost seems to be a fear sometimes from attacking teams just to risk anything longer than a couple of metres past close to the line, but the Lions prove you can do it. The ball into Maxwani's hands as often as possible if I was coaching them.
Hussein. Ali Price has come on for his 100th URC appearance. Dodd. It will be a Lions penalty as Edinburgh chasing this 4th try. Marius Lowe is on for Jonker.
I think it's Pretorius again, isn't it? The 6 over the top of the ball. Yeah, it was quick as a flash. I think he felt the clear out, but he was quick as a flash over the top of the ball. He has been really impressive. And the flanker, Marius Lowe coming on. He's no shy a direct route to the try line either. Really powerful 12 to get Edinburgh, the Lions over the advantage line. Decent clearance as well from the Nahamba. So skillful, good cricketer, I believe. Sean Everett was saying that he almost was a dual sportsman, Scintillating Nahamba, when Sean knew him in South Africa. Really good cricketer as well. Slow walk the line out, isn't it? The tempo's gone out of the game from the first half.
Well, there's just over 30 seconds left of that yellow card. Some width on the ball for Horn. Maxwani, he's already got 3. What damage he has done. The wingers have got 5 of the 8 tries for the Lions this afternoon. Cronje and Pretorius, he's had an excellent game on the blind side. Scuban. Nahamba thinking about the crossfield kick.
Knock-on advantage, he's going to catch the ball.
Has gone forward from Edinburgh. Maxwani can't gather.
No advantage, no. You've gone to intercept the ball. Knock on. Scrum. Rebel.
Yeah, it looked as if Nahamba was going to shape for the crossfield kick, didn't it? And then he decided to try and throw that big long loopy pass over, and Edinburgh knocked on in an attempt to intercept. 2 hands, I think, went for it. Yeah, Matt Scott going with 2 hands, so it's just a knock on, nothing more than that.
Time back.
The Lions will target their next 2 away fixtures as well. Dragons, Zebra, and I think they play perhaps Leinster after that, so that they'll want to finish this game strongly. Obviously, it's a comfortable victory, but they'll want to take their home form on the road.
Well, they'll be savouring this moment because they're not back home for another 113 days. That's some mid-season tour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go, boys.
130 days.
Well, that's in the URC, obviously. Yeah.
It's another challenge in the league, isn't it? And that's why remember us having this conversation towards the mid or the end point of last year's URC season. The league and the seedings and the placings don't really take place until everybody's home and away fixtures have evened out. Obviously, the South Africans play like 4 home games away in one time. So it's not until the final third of the season you begin to get a picture of where the teams are placed.
Set!
You can get teams making a real late charge for the playoffs, and also on the other side of things, teams dropping out of that top 8 in Edinburgh were so well positioned last season, but
time off.
By that stage they hadn't gone to South Africa yet. This time they're getting it out the way early. They've got Leinster out the way early.
And potentially picked up points in all those games. Obviously, the couple against Leinster, a bonus point last week, and then that has to be the goal in this moment as we're ready to set a scrum for Edinburgh. Darcy Graham took a bump there as he made the defence. Good defensive read again. Another example of just the increased intensity in the second half towards the first half, and how quickly Darcy Graham got up and shut down the attack. It was okay because he's had so many weeks out through injury over the last season or so.
I guess the important thing, and we talked about it in the lead up to half time, was that Edinburgh stopped the bleeding and made sure that this afternoon was you limit the damage. And is that second half, have they done that in this second half?
In some ways, yeah, 21-7 in the second half, but it's an 80-minute game, and sometimes I think if for all the, I suppose the positives, if that's the right word, you can take from that second half, is it would be the same result. See Darcy Graham just getting Van Veek there.
Wait, I just want to make sure he's okay. Doctor,
if the result ends at this, but you flip the halves and you started 21-7, you were 21-7 at half time, and then you lose 55-21, then it's a completely different perspective on it. So I think you have to look at it as an 80-minute performance, but when you're in that moment, when you're 48-0 down at half time, you're staring down the barrel, you need something to aim for. You need, a rung on the ladder to go and then achieve another one and take another one off to get your, your game back on track, but potentially the early part of the season back on track as well, and they've probably done that.
Denver will have the penalty. I certainly like that one.
Elbow point into the ground,
leading the charge.
Just by here, just here.
He's getting a bit excited there, Ben Muncaster, I think.
But it might just give them a chance to launch a platform.
Well, that's
here.
the thing. That's what it's about. It's not. It's taking it in the precise moment. Saying, listen, how do I affect the next couple of minutes where my team can get something from this disappointing afternoon?
100 seconds left to try and do just
No,
that.
no. Boys, you called the wrong number, and then you come in with the number that you didn't call. So let's take the line up again, and we'll make sure we're in.
It's like an
Let's get the
episode of
housekeeping
Countdown.
right, boys.
Numbers, then.
They do get the chance to go again, Edinburgh. There's Dodd off the top for Price. By Bradbury. Scintillating picks the pass out, and here goes Darcy Graham. Hodgson, Thompson, Bradbury managed to free up the hands to get that on to Matt Scott, and Edinburgh finishing
It's only blue there.
with a bit of a flourish, a positive end, they will hope. Ross McCann fighting for the yardage, but then not looking after the pass, and that could be costly.
So many good points, so much good work done, and then the final decision. This is rash. He'll put his hand
Mark
up,
on
he'll
me,
acknowledge his
17.
error there, Ross McCann, because he did so well to beat so many
Three calls,
defenders.
3.
Magnus Bradbury broke through as
Everyone
well,
else
got the
back
hands
10.
free and got the offload away to Matt Scott. Edinburgh in behind, they're chasing this point,
3 calls.
and he'll be frustrated with that final effort.
Go back. Yeah,
for
okay.
Ross McCann.
Yeah, they've swapped before the ball.
So
was
one
fine.
line out to secure for the Lions, and that will end Edinburgh's torment in Johannesburg. They
No
will
hands.
come away with nothing. Vandenberg to Nahamba, who will simply run it out of play. A tough old afternoon at altitude for Edinburgh.